Dear Mr. President, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, welcome to our country. I'm very glad to have opportunity to host you in Azerbaijan. Your visit demonstrates the close partnership relations between our countries, and I am sure that the visit will strengthen our bilateral ties. We have very active political dialogue, and we communicate with Mr. President by telephone, and now, of course, during the official visit, we had more opportunity to address important issues on our bilateral agenda. Opening of Azerbaijani embassy in Israel this year, of course, will elevate relations on a higher level, and at the same time will create more opportunities to have closer interaction. Looking at some economic figures, I saw that our trade turnover is more than 1.7 billion US dollars, which is a substantial amount. But I think in the coming years we need to try to diversify the trade turnover, and hopefully, as a result of joint projects which we plan to implement, we will have more balanced trade turnover. And it will not only depend on energy factors, though for many years Azerbaijan continues to be a reliable supplier of crude oil to Israel, and this actually demonstrates also close cooperation in the energy field. Today, during the discussions, we also address the issue how to expand cooperation in energy field, because we see great opportunities of investment projects and projects related to creation of interconnectors and potential projects of cooperation in third countries. We also discussed our plans and already what has been done in the area of irrigation and agriculture. We know about the great achievements of Israel in this area, and we want to use this positive experience in order to increase productivity of our agricultural products and to diversify the market of our exports. One of the areas which relatively recently we start to cooperate in is the area of cybersecurity. We are very glad that now active communications in this area have started, and today it's not a secret that cybersecurity is an important part of national security of every country, and definitely a great experience of Israeli companies in this area will be helpful to us, as well as training of young generation, education, which will be a fundamental factor in order to achieve our goals and to protect ourselves from threat. Talking about threats, I also would like to mention with pleasure the long-lasting cooperation in the area of defense industry. Azerbaijan has access to modern Israeli equipment in this area for many years, which helps us to modernize our defense capability and to be able to protect our statehood, our values, our national interests, and our territorial integrity. Today we also talked about how to enhance the level of mutual tourism traffic. We have only 4 flights per week, which is, I think, not sufficient, and instructions have been given to members of our delegations to increase the number of flights, not only on seasonal basis, because usually during the summertime we have more flights, but on permanent basis, and also to explore opportunities to have more presentation capabilities and facilities in Israel so that we can invite more tourists from Israel, and also to tell more about centuries-long Jewish communities' life in Azerbaijan. This is a big asset for our country. Representatives of Jewish community, citizens of Azerbaijan, are people who contributed and contribute a lot into the modern development of our country. They fought shoulder to shoulder with us, with all the other representatives of ethnic groups in Azerbaijan for our independence and for our territorial integrity. And today, I think this factor is an important factor not only for successful development of Azerbaijan, intercultural peace and friendship, but also for our bilateral relations. I know that also Azerbaijani representatives who live in Israel also play an important role in building bridges between our countries. We have diasporal organizations of Azerbaijanis all over the world, but only in one country, in Israel, they predominantly consist of people of Jewish origin. Mm-hmm. And this really is a demonstration that there is no distinction, no division between us. We have a centuries-long history of interaction, friendship, mutual support. And as an independent country, Azerbaijan is only 31 years old, but we have ancient history. And Jews in Azerbaijan always were very active and prominent part of our society and remain as that today. So these are so-called cultural bridges between our countries. Therefore, their contribution to our bilateral strategic cooperation is very important. We really have a very broad agenda. We have a limited time for this press briefing, otherwise we would have spoke maybe for hours about the broad agenda of our bilateral cooperation. Of course, members of delegations will be engaged in close interaction today and tomorrow. In conclusion, I want once again to express gratitude to Mr. President for accepting my invitation and visiting Azerbaijan with official visit, and wish him and the people of Israel peace, success, prosperity, and wish you a pleasant stay in Azerbaijan, Mr. President. Welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Visiting Azerbaijan is a dream come true for me and for my nation. This visit is extremely important for the Israeli people and for the joint relationships between the Azerbaijani people and the Israeli people. Thank you, Mr. President, for your hospitality, for your invitation. I would like to reciprocate by inviting you and the First Lady to visit us in Israel in a state visit. It will be an expression of the incredible relationship which has developed over the years, the cornerstone of which were laid down by your late illustrious father, President Aliyev, who then established your nation, and forward as you've enhanced it and developed it so tremendously in the last few years. Our relationship are based on deep roots, the roots of the Jewish heritage in this country, unique heritage, by the way, an example of its own, coupled with the addition of Jewish communities who've come forward about 120, 130 years ago and onwards, and have contributed so much to the story of Azerbaijan in the world. Together with a joint strategic vision that we have for peace and common good and doing good, and a dialogue, a fruitful and honest and frank and friendly dialogue between Jews and Muslims, a vision which we can dream about and which we can show. It's no secret that your country is a Muslim country with a predominant Shiite majority, and yet the love and affection which are between our nations is simply an example of how we can change the world and move forward. The ceremony which we just witnessed between our ministers of health is another example and epitomization of how many issues and fields of cooperation we have, as was outlined by you, Mr. President. And we share the vision whereby I see Azerbaijan making huge impact in the world and in the region. You explained to me the impact of Azerbaijan in the energy sector in Europe, in the region as a whole, in Asia, and of course in the Middle East, which therefore connects to us. We looked at the entire global and regional security structure, which is endangered and threatened by Iran, clearly something which we discussed in depth. And we, of course, look forward as to the ability to develop fields of cooperation in academia, in science, in agriculture, and so many more fields as you have outlined in your introductory remarks, Mr. President. So I want to thank you wholeheartedly for this great moment. We are celebrating 75 years of Israel's independence, and it is coupled with 30 years of very strong relations between our nations, and I'm sure that this visit of mine and my delegation will be a benchmark for another upgrading of the relationship. So thank you very much. As we say, Shalom, Mr. President.